Well, my next guest this week is simply a titan of the sport in the United States of America and indeed in global racing. With 26 winners, he's the most successful Breeders' Cup jockey of all time. He has landed each and every Triple Crown race at least once, and indeed he became the 13th jockey to ride a Triple Crown winner last year when Justify took all three legs. In addition to that, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2003 and has been in it for 16 years, whereupon his reputation has grown and grown. He's more selective with his rides these days, which has earned him the sobriquet Big Money Mike. He is, of course, the one and only Mike Smith. Mike, good morning.
Nick, how are you?
I'm extremely well. Thank you for joining us on the show. Unusually for you, no big payday last night, which we're not accustomed to seeing. But have you enjoyed your stay in Dubai? I've
certainly enjoyed it. I always love coming here. Yeah, just kind of lost for words for Seeking the Soul's performance last night. Thought I put him up in a good spot, you know, going into the far turn with a chance to keep running. You know, he's been a bit unlucky in his last few Group 1s, and so I wanted to get him a clear trip, and I got him out there, and maybe he's just better covered up and in trouble, you know, because he just didn't fire like I thought he would, you know. So
a big disappointment for him, but would you be confident that he's the sort of horse that can go back to the States and sort of re-establish that profile and be one of the best middle distance horses in the US this year?
I would certainly think so, Nick, with some time. He probably needs a little bit of time. You know, he ran awful hard in the Pegasus, you know, leading up to this race. You know, he was a really good second, again, with a bit of trouble. So maybe it was a bit harder than what you'd have thought, you know. And his first time also going 10 furlongs, you know, going a mile and a quarter, which he's never done before. You know, as a handicapper, that would probably be something that you would gamble on because he's never done it before. But I certainly thought he was capable of it, but that could be part of it as well. We'll just have to wait and see, you know.
What about you? For you, these trips and taking in some of the world's biggest races, to what extent does that still drive you on?
Well, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like getting the opportunity to ride in a World Cup, a Kentucky Derby, a Breeders' Cup. And those are feelings you can only get unless you're involved. And that's what keeps you coming back, and that's what keeps you trying. People keep saying, you know, what else do you have left to prove? There's nothing. I want to just do it over again. That's how good it feels, you know, that's how good it feels to be a part of it. So it's just, you know, getting those opportunities, and at my age, you know, I'm still being blessed with those chances and those opportunities. So I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can.
It sounds very similar to the man who was on this sofa 3 weeks ago on this same show. Frankie Dettori was saying much the same thing. I don't want to rub it in. I think you might have a year or two on him as well, don't you?
Probably do. I'm pretty sure that I do. You know, the good thing that if I ever did anything right, Nick, at an early age was take up physical fitness. You know, I started in my early 20s working out anywhere from 5 to 6 days a week, and I've literally been at it ever since. And now in my later years, it's really paying off. I mean, I can go in the gym with any 20-year-old jock right now, and if I can't beat him, I can certainly keep up, you know. So as long as I can stay healthy, I can keep doing it.
I bet that gives you a bit of a kick as well when the young bug riders are upside you on the treadmill and you're leaving them standing.
It does feel good. It does feel good.
It does seem to me that when I've been into jockeys' rooms in the US and come down to interview you or one of the top riders, you are maintaining your fitness all the time inside the jockeys' room, and it's not something in Europe I see a lot of. It does seem as though you guys place an increased emphasis on it.
You know, again, at an early age I picked it up. I think I got a lot of it from watching the great Lafitte Pincay. I don't know if you ever got a chance to see him. He's 72 years old right now, and if he took his shirt off, you'd be in awe. I mean, he's just an incredible athlete. And I just kind of admired him and took after him, and again, it's really paid off. And I think, you know, younger riders have seen that. They take care of themselves a whole lot better. You know, they stay in really good shape. And they've come to realize, you know, that it's a very dangerous sport, and you're going to get hurt at some point in some time. So if you're in really good shape before that happens, there's a good chance that you'll make it back a whole lot quicker as well.
Well, if this had been a couple of years ago, we'd have been sitting here, we'd have been getting wet, but you'd have also had a broader grin on your face because you'd have been reflecting on one of the great performances of the modern era when Arrogate run down Gunrunner in the Dubai World Cup. How do you think Arrogate should be remembered? Where is he in your pantheon of greats?
You know, honestly, to be honest with you, Nick, coming over here on the flight over, I got to really watch that race over and over again. And for the first time, I really realize how special he really was, because I think at the time we expected it. And then after getting away so bad, it was more of a relief that I pulled it off than a celebration. I was just like, oh, I'm so good. We came all this way, and he was 1-9, and to get left at the gate and to still be able to pull it off, like I said, it was more of a relief. But to come back and watch what he actually did, and to see who he beat in the race, you know, Gunrunner went on to just crush the rest of the United States after that. It's just incredible. I mean, he'll go down as all out at 1.25 miles with not a straw in their path. He'd probably be the fastest horse that I've ever ridden.
And you've ridden some exceptional horses.
I've been very blessed.
Triple Crown winner.
He was special. He was just different.
When he won the Travers, I think that was when the world woke up to Arrogate. It was a remarkable performance. He ran the fastest 1.25 miles for a 3-year-old in the state of New York in history.
In history, that was just the beginning. You know, then he came back after that and he wins the Breeders' Cup Classic, wins the Pegasus, and then came here and did what he did in the World Cup. The only, downside of the whole thing was going back to Del Mar, which probably was his least favorite racetrack of all times. Even before he won the Travers, he won a 3-horse race there, just did, and just never cared for that racetrack whatsoever. You know, a lot of people say, well, did Dubai take too much out of him? And I don't necessarily think that Dubai took so much out of him. I just think that he went back to a track that he just wasn't very fond of. It was just too deep for him, And
I remember talking to you a lot and interviewing you a lot during those times, and the disappointments were difficult to take, but you had to take them with stoicism. But you'd become used by that point in your career to being so involved with great racehorses that there's a certain responsibility that goes with it, none more so than with Zenyatta, of course. Lure years before that, then Justify last year. Is it a difficult responsibility to bear that when you're essentially in charge of a public horse?
It's an honorable responsibility. It's a great honor to get those opportunities to be around these great horses, and yes, it's a huge responsibility. I mean, from this day forward, I'll always go down as a pilot error on Zenyatta losing her last race. I would never in my wildest dreams blame her. She never did nothing wrong. She never did, and we got a bit too far back, a bit unlucky in the turn. With just a better trip, I think I could have made up the difference. Again, I'd love to have that opportunity again. People say, would you change anything? I said, of course I would. I'd finish second if I didn't. So I'd definitely change something. But I could never blame her. I mean, for her to do what she did in defeat probably showed how great she really was compared to all the ones that she won, to be honest with you. For her to make up that kind of ground was just incredible.
I didn't mention Zenyatta's defeat in the Breeders' Cup Classic. The fact that it was what you immediately picked up,
yeah, I always
tells me that it is the one that is just never going to leave you, isn't it?
It'll never leave me. It's come easier to handle. I mean, there was a time that if you brought it up, I might just get up and walk off, to be honest with you, because I had to. And not because I was angry or anything else. I just couldn't take the pain of it, to be honest with you. But now you learn how to handle it, and you handle it a whole lot better. But there's 1,000 different things I wish I could have done different that night. Just because I know it would have affected the outcome. If I go back and say, well, I wouldn't have changed anything, then I finished second again, and I know she was better than that.
I saw something that night I haven't seen since, and Bob Baffert had I think the second favourite in the race, second or third choice.
I think
finished fourth, and he was cheering his horse to the 2-pole, and his horse just looked as though he might have had enough or done enough. And it's a split second. He starts roaring for you.
Everybody really cheered for her. Bob talks about the time that when she beat the boys in the Classic, he said he cried. For him to cry over someone else's horse, it's remarkable how special she was. And the day that she did that, it was a day that the ground shook in California and there wasn't an earthquake. It was just everyone going, everyone was so excited about her. And to this day, I still can't go somewhere without signing it. I think I signed several Zenyatta stuff last night here, and people still love her and still talk about her. I just hope that one day one of her offspring jumps up and does a lot of good, because she deserves a good one.
She really does. And you evoking those memories of 2008 when she won the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and 2009 when she beat the boys in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and 10 she suffered that defeat. It made me quite nostalgic for California a decade or so ago, and the great times we were enjoying and the state was enjoying relative to now, where you've been through some pain and difficulty the last 3 months with horses being killed at Santa Anita. How difficult has that been for you as essentially the statesman in?
It's
in
horrible.
Southern
You know,
California?
it's sad. You know, a bit of everything hit California at once, especially the weather. Nick, you know, we had 2 months of just straight rain. It seemed like, and every day the track never got a chance to dry out at all. Matter of fact, it was basically sealed, you know, which is very hard, you know, when they have to seal a racetrack. And I just think it just caught up. It just caught up with them. Before you knew it, it just happened so fast. It was like a storm just came in, blew in, and hopefully blew out. You know, California has done a lot with the racetracks. They've literally pulled them all up, laid them all back down. I mean, it's a brand new course. Everything is fresh and new. We just hope we can put this past us and move forward, you know.
And you've been in the game long enough to see change, to see difficult periods, to see periods where the sport's struggling a little bit for popularity or traction. Do you still remain hopeful and confident, Mike, that racing in California can get back to where it should be?
Without a doubt, Nick, to be honest with you, it's amazing what a horse can do. One good horse could literally change the world. I think horses have changed the world from way before racing. A horse has come into people's lives and have done things. I mean, you could be totally down and out, and that one good horse comes around, and oh my God, he just puts you on top of the world again. So a good horse can do that. We just need that one good horse to step up and do that in the States, especially in California. And I think it'll heal all. It'll heal everything.
And you're not ever going to be a deserter, are you? That's your home. That's where you're going to do your thing.
You know, I'm blessed to have a few solid years left in me, and I would want more than anything to finish it in California, and then maybe move on and sit where you're sitting. You know, maybe do some TV, some commentating. You know, really promote our sport and put it out there. It's a wonderful, wonderful sport. It's great for the family. It's a good thing. You know, it teaches you so much in life, and I would never want to leave it. It's all that I have. I mean, it's the reason I have all that I have, to be honest with you. So I'm looking forward for that one good horse to pull us out, and when it does, it'll bring us high. It'll bring us high again.
I know you're familiar because I know you're friends with the people who started it up, the I Am Horse Racing movement.
Great people, yeah.
Yeah, and to really reinforce a positive message about the sport and why people got into the game, their role in it, why they love the athlete, why they love the animals themselves. Do you find it frustrating that you sometimes have to defend the thing that you love?
We have to defend almost everything in life, don't we? No matter what it is. If you're going to talk about religion, politics, any sport, you know, there's always something that you're going to have to defend in it. But does the good outweigh the bad? And if you was to ask me or anybody involved in it, the good is so much greater that it'll pull itself out. I really believe that. You have some great people, again, you know, the people we were just talking about, they're getting involved and trying to tell the stories and people's stories from the very beginning. You know, I think that needs to be seen. We need to educate the public, the people that you know, they don't often, you know, tune into our sport or our channel. When they see how much passion and love is given to these beautiful animals, it can't help but get back up again.
To that end, how does a veteran and hugely successful rider such as yourself deal with reactions to what's happened by, say, removing medication and asking you guys at Santa Anita to not ride with whips and so forth?
Well, we prefer to call them riding crops nowadays. What the public don't understand, Nick, is these are cushion crops. They're equine friendly. They don't hurt a horse in any way. But there's some sort of, you know, they're highly strung, extremely powerful animals, and you gotta have some. You know, they don't have a human's mentality. You know, that their focus goes off every now and then. You gotta have something besides a rein to make them focus, you know, to make them respond when you need them to respond, whatever it may be. But in no way whatsoever are we harming these animals. I mean, these cushion crops, if you actually seen them, it's like a Nerf thing that you would buy your kids to play with.
And this is a conversation I've had with countless people and countless jockeys on this program, and I think an enormous portion of our audience are happy with the idea that no pain is felt. I just am intrigued to know that if it goes at Santa Anita, how is that going to change the game for you personally, or for your fellow riders, or is it not?
No, it definitely will. It would change the game. It's a big safety issue as well, Nick. I mean, you're talking about, you know, again, 1,200-pound powerful animals. I mean, they'll hit the front. I mean, their attention span might change in a fifth of a second. I mean, you got to have something to help you control them. If that happens, it'll become very dangerous. I mean, it really will. It's a whole lot more to it than if you've never ridden a horse, you wouldn't know until you actually got on one. But you'd appreciate the riding crop if you did. It's just something to show them. It's nothing that you hurt them with. It's just something that makes them focus and move forward when you want them to move forward. Again, you got to remember this is a sport as well. A lot of them, you know, love to run, but they're also pack animals. You know, they don't all hit the front and want to just keep running. I mean, they lose focus at times. So it's just something that keeps them focused. I pray that don't happen. Again, I think we really need to educate the public on the equipment that we use. I mean, if you actually saw it, you wouldn't even think twice about it.
Yeah, and as I said, it's a topic that we talk about probably more than most of us would care to talk about on this program, but it is so hot at the moment and so much in the news. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Let's look forward to 2019 for you. Where's the next star? Who's the next star?
I've got two really good 3-year-olds coming up. One's going to actually run on the 6th of next Saturday, a horse called Roadster, quality road colt for Bob Baffert that's has that kind of talent. He's a bit behind in time, you know, he's a bit late starting. But if he was to jump up and win the Santa Anita Derby, he'd be something you'd really look forward to. I got a wonderful Warfront colt, man, that just won the prep for the Arkansas Derby, the Rebel. His name is Omaha Beach. Mm-hmm. You'll see him run back on the 13th in the Arkansas Derby. I mean, he's that kind of horse. So I'm blessed with two good shots. I'm praying that they both make it, and then I'll have to have a tough choice to make because they both belong. They have that kind of talent.
I mean, at the moment, just the Omaha Beach is, when you said his name, that was the one that got you sprung off the sofa a bit. Yeah,
up just a little bit.
Yeah.
You noticed that. So, and he's training that way as well. He came out of that race very, very good. He's going to run back in the Arkansas Derby, as I said, and it's really pretty neat as well for Mr. Mandela, Richard Mandela, who's an unbelievable trainer back home. And this, if we were to make it into the Derby, this would probably be the best shot that he has ever had going into it. So that would be pretty neat as well.
You are one of the very few recognizable faces outside the sport because of your exploits on Zenyatta and because of the Triple Crown last year. And the same could be said of Bob Baffert, with whom you have I guess an unofficial partnership, but a pretty lucrative one when it clicks together. What's your relationship like personally?
A wonderful man. What a lot of people don't realize off the camera, and he's a very, very extremely generous man. Would do anything for you. Has made so many of his riders' career. Has given so many people and riders wonderful opportunities. And still to this day, I mean, I'm not his rider of everyday kind of business, but when it's a go-to race and he needs somebody with a lot of experience, he reaches out to me, and I'm very blessed for that, and he'll forever hold a special place, and certainly in my heart and in my family's heart as well. To pull off a Triple Crown, I think we've literally been blessed to have just about done it all. We won Breeders' Cups, we won a Triple Crown, we won the Dubai World Cup together. Again, all that's left to do is to just do it all over again because it feels that good.
It's interesting, and you might correct me. I'm very happy for you to correct me. You've got your nickname Big Money Mike because you win all these big money races and you're reasonably selective about...
Bob named me that. That was his nickname for me. I don't know where he came up with that, but I'll take it. If it gets me more business, I'll certainly take it.
And you've won, I don't know, $300–400 million in purses down the years. I mean, are you still financially motivated, or is it simply getting on the horses, getting on the good horses that keeps your blood pumping?
You know, honestly, Nick, sometimes I'll leave my check in the jocks room for a month. It's not about the money. It never has been for me. It's nice to have, and I've been blessed to have gotten my share and put it away and done well by it. But I don't ride because of the money. I ride because I love horses. I love being around them, and there's just nothing like the feeling of you know, getting the opportunity to ride a big, beautiful, powerful animal and crossing that finish wire first. It's incredible. Even the horse loves it.
Again, I'm minded of having this conversation with Frankie a couple of weeks ago, because he, like you, is enjoying this golden autumn of his career. Though when I suggested autumn, he got rather cross. But you know what I mean. It's sort of flowers and blooms, and it's blooming late, and you're getting. What really interests me about both of you, I suppose, is how it's such a highly adrenalized sport, and there are so many ups and downs, and you're traveling a lot, and it's incredibly demanding on you mentally and physically. What keeps you in one piece up here?
Getting the opportunity to get on that horse each and every time that we get that chance is what keeps you pushing and striving and running and working out and training just to get that chance again. Because you'll never get that feeling with anything else. I've been blessed to have driven the best cars you can drive, or gone to the greatest amusement parks and ride. There's nothing like getting on a racehorse. It's just nothing like it. And it's hard to explain unless you've gotten that opportunity to have gotten on one, or to have been close enough to one that you have a rooting interest in what it feels like, when you see your horse cross that finish line first. It's just incredible.
And I know you said you've done it all and you've won all these great races, but is there a gap? Is there something you think, now there's an itch I need to scratch here and I need to get that done, or nothing left now?
Each and every race that I get an opportunity to ride, I just want to do my best for it. If you realize that the time and effort that goes into each and every horse, it's just incredible. You just don't want to ever let no one down, So it's just trying to please and make everybody happy, which is impossible, but it's fun to try. And every now and then you'll get it right,
And what's the atmosphere like for you in the jocks room now compared to what it was when, say, more of your contemporaries were there? And I guess you were having a lot of good times with those people. Are you more of a father figure to the guys in there now?
I guess somewhat. I remember being the young kid and getting the opportunity to watch. I got to ride with the great Lester Pickett one time, man. And when that guy walked in the room, my mouth just dropped. That probably doesn't happen when I walk in the room, but I guess I'm kind of the old guy now. Gary Stevens just retired. All my friends and guys that I looked up to, so I got to where I'm pretty much one, if not the oldest, one of them anyway that's in there. So, it's fun to go in there. The younger riders certainly, love picking your brain and talking to you, and it's fun. It's fun having to have learned all that I've been blessed to learn, but to also pass it on to other riders and watch them, go on and do great things and appreciate the horse like we did, and it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna miss that the day that it all comes to an end, but again, I'll always be a part of it. Like I said, I'm gonna try and sit where you're sitting for my next career anyway.
It's definitely a one-way career swap, this. I definitely couldn't do what you were doing. Although I may have lost about 3.5 stone, much needed, sitting here this morning. It's that
pretty
hot.
Warm, yeah.
Oh
warm.
dear, oh dear. It's been great to chat. I mean, you must have been proud of your countryman last night. For all it wasn't a great night for you, you must have been proud of Jose Ortiz, his first visit to Dubai, and bang, in he goes twice.
Just, I've watched him since he first started, and again, you're exactly right. I picked him out very early. I said, this kid's going to go somewhere. It's just happy to see him not only going somewhere, but to represent himself in our country and his country for that fact, as well as he's doing. It's just incredible. He's a great human being as well.
Well, Mike Smith, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best for the coming year, whether it's Omaha Beach or Roadster or whichever horse it is that takes you to the next success. I feel confident there'll be plenty more. Mike, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Mike Smith, with record-breaking number of Breeders' Cup wins and Triple Crown winning hero, Hall of Famer for the last 16 years, who's been our special guest this morning. Join me after the break when we will be bringing the curtain down on our season in Dubai.
Luck on Sunday, proudly sponsored by Al Basti Equiworld Dubai.